within our system, we could have different types of energies. Kinetic, potential, or internal are the ones we'll talk about in this course. Now, these energies that are in our system, they don't just have to stay in the system. They could transfer or flow from the system to the surroundings. Or another way to think about it is this energy can flow from one system to another. Okay? So a useful concept about energy is that it flows or transfers from the system to its surroundings. And the reverse could happen too. Energy from our surroundings can flow into our system of interest. Okay? All right? And now, when we talk about energy transfer, there's really just two types of ways that energy can transfer, broadly speaking. Falls under two types. Okay? The first type of energy transfer is heat. Okay? And whenever we talk about heat, what we mean is an energy flow that's driven by thermal differences, right? Or energy flow due to a difference in temperature. Temperature T. Right? And so in this course, we're going to abbreviate heat as Q. Okay? And so that's heat. The other type of energy transfer that we'll consider is work. Right? And so the definition for this is kind of similar to the definition for internal energy, or it's analogous to it. And so work is going to be an energy flow, any energy flow, that's not thermally driven, or any energy flow that's not heat. Okay? And so if the energy flow is driven by a difference in temperature, we call that heat. If it's not, we'll just call that work. Right? And so work is going to be abbreviated as W. Okay? Now, one kind of major notation thing I want to define in this video is that whenever we're talking about heat or work, we're going to define these variables or these properties as positive if they're flowing from our surroundings to the system. Okay? So Q and W are defined as positive if they flow from the surroundings to the system. Okay? To illustrate this notation, I just want to go through some examples. And so let's first consider some sort of arbitrary system bordered by these dashed lines. Okay? And let's say for this system, we have heat that's going from the surroundings into the system. All right? And so if this is the case, that means that when we define the heat in our system, it's going to be greater than 0. All right? And so in this case, because heat is going from the surroundings to our system, that means our heat flow is positive. Now let's consider the case where our system, is doing some work of some sort. We'll get more detail about what that would entail later. But let's say it's doing work, and that work is going from the system to the surroundings. And so when we discuss the work in this case, the work of our system is going to be less than 0 because it's going from the system to the surroundings. All right? And the opposite case of that would be if we have our system and the surroundings are doing work on it. All right, so that the work is going into the system. In this case, our work would be positive because it's going from the surroundings into our system. And so, remember, right, if Q or W are going into the system, that means that they're going to be positive. But if they're leaving the system and going to the surroundings, that means they're going to be negative.